Welcome to Destigmatize. Today we have with us a guest, Pallabi Ghosh. Pallabi Ghosh is an anti-trafficking activist, ethnographer, and researcher specializing in prevention of human forced labor, trafficking, and migration-related conflicts. She has worked extensively in social development, focusing on human rights, labor issues, and migration and trafficking issues. Pallabi has actively participated in anti-trafficking raids across India and rescued over 10,000 children, youth, and women. She is the founder of the Impact and Dialogue Foundation. Starting with the objective to change society through regular dialogues, IDF aims to create an impact by reaching out to grassroots communities by empowering them through different livelihood opportunities. Great to have you here, Pallavi. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for calling me, Apurva.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Pallavi, could you talk about your journey as a child rights activist?
Yeah. So, to be honest, I was not at all clear about this whole thing, this whole heinous crime of anti-trafficking and trafficking.
Right.
But so this was in the year 2002. I was in class 6, and I had gone to visit, I was in Kolkata. I had gone to visit my uncle. He had taken me for a holiday in one of the districts of West Bengal. I had gone to this district, and I was taking a walk on the morning, and suddenly I saw a man in his early 50s running around the village. And then because I was Bengali, I knew the local native language. I asked him what happened. He says his daughter, who is of my age, had gone missing since the last 2 days. So I asked him if he could just tell me what he did. He said he went to the police, but the police was like, the police told him to go because the police thought that the daughter must have run away with somebody. You know how the society thinks.
Right.
So then I roamed around with him. I talked with multiple people, but I was not able to draw this conclusion that why this girl was missing, because I also come from a very small railway town in Assam, whose name is Lamding.
Okay.
And so this place is a very small railway town. Everybody knows everybody. I'm going next month. So, everybody will say hi to you. So it's like, how it happens in village.
Yeah.
But, the thing I observed is that nobody knew where this girl was. So that was something that really triggered me. Despite the fact that I was a very young child, I realized that how is it possible that people don't know that, a child has gone missing. How is it possible? So what I did is that I took his name, I took his village name, I came back, I started doing research on what is this missing children, where do missing children go? And slowly and gradually I started figuring out about this concept of trafficking. Okay. And then I got introduced to this whole thing of, begging. I got to know about begging. Like children are trafficked for begging. Then I got to know about armed soldiers, where children are trafficked to be armed soldiers. I started talking to a lot of police officers initially because I was very small. A lot of police officers used to, tell me what am I doing outside the police station. But what I did is that, I developed a friendship with them. I told them that I'm here, I want to talk to them, I want to ask how they are doing. And the police officers were also felt really interested because they were people who were always looked down upon. Everybody thinks police means fear. Right. So they also started talking to me. So the police officer in my state kept telling me all this while that it's more about, begging. But then over the years, it went from begging to arms to drugs, and then I started understanding this concept of forced labor. After forced labor was prostitution. So years of research, and then I did my English in Delhi. I came to Chennai. I was placed, my campus placement was in a very good MNC, but then I didn't join that. I figured it out that no, I need to go. I wrote to Ministry of Home Affairs.
Oh, okay.
And they put me in this organization known as Shakti Vahini. So they put me in touch. I did a lot of rescue operations there. I did a lot of rescue. I rescued multiple children. I worked there for 6 years. But my actual work started post I left the organization. Of course, in that organization I did a lot of mass rescues. But I was mostly doing groundwork and some training. But once I left that organization in 2016, my intervention started, where I started meeting law enforcement agencies as I went out of the country. I started understanding what happens to trafficked children, what is displacement, what are the causes. Like, for example, I always knew that poverty, unemployment, and illiteracy are the main causes of trafficking, followed by natural disaster. But post leaving this organization, I started doing individual consultancy by myself with multiple organizations. And that's how I realized that one of the main reasons for trafficking is unequal distribution of wealth and income. Like labor is one of the main reasons that for which people are trafficked. People want a good quality of life, so they come to cities, metro cities like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore. They want to be placed in good jobs. So that is one of the main reasons, and thus my intervention started. And I figured it out that everybody works in rescue. Nobody works in prevention and rehabilitation.
Right.
So that's how I started an organization in 2020. Of course, I wanted to do it earlier, but just things did not materialize. And then I started doing prevention program across Pan India with more focus on source areas. And then after conducting interviews, meeting survivors all across the country, especially in Kashmir and other parts of the country, I realized that Kashmir, Arunachal, all these places, I realized that I have to do something for the survivors. That's how I got into rehabilitation, because there's no point doing rescues if you can't rehabilitate people.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how the whole journey has been.
Oh, great. That's really inspiring. And also you mentioned about rehabilitation, right? So could you share about how does the mental health and the status of mental health of people who need rehabilitation, and how can rehabilitation help them recover and all those things?
See, trafficking is a big, it's like, imprisonment. They say, no, you keep me in a jail, I will be fine, but don't capture my mind.
Right.
Give me freedom. So what happens with these traffic people is they are not allowed to think.
Right.
They are not allowed to think. They just obey orders, which means they are into modern slavery. So when you talk about modern slavery, Abraham Lincoln says that modern slavery was abolished, but it's not. Still it's existing. Now my problem is people who are in that, traffic area, right? They already face a lot of violence and everything. So their mental health is definitely not good. And especially when you rescue them, the trauma is more deep. Now you'll ask me how? Because, people want to forget. People want to forget what they went through. They really want to, live a life of dignity. But this constant, court sending them summons, then, different statements, compensation, the entire process expects them to tell their ordeal, what they face. So when it keeps happening again and again, these people can't forget. Right? And when they can't forget, that really triggers their mental health. Now, when you talk about mental health also, most people are not given counseling.
Right. Okay.
They are not told that this is not their fault, that they are trafficked. This is not that they had gone for. Like, for example, there's a big difference between a girl who is trafficked and a boy who is trafficked. If a boy goes for labor work and he's trafficked, the society accepts him. The society does not ostracize him. But if a girl is trafficked, and if she is rescued, the society starts treating her like, like as if she went there asking for it. Like she is doing sex work. Like, for example, one of my survivors only told me that she went to the village, and one of the village uncle who used to talk to her before she was trafficked started asking her what is the amount she charges per night. So you can imagine. And the problem is that when we talk about rehabilitation, we just counsel the victim or the survivor. We don't counsel the society.
Yeah, that is very important.
Yeah, the stigma and the taboo comes from society. So when you're talking about trafficking or anything like that, you have to talk to the society. You have to talk to the gatekeepers of the society, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
So nobody talks to them. So that's where Impact and Dialogue Foundation intervenes. That's where they try to sensitize people in the system, around the system, part of the system, not just So Impact and Dialogue Foundation's main objective is keep the survivor in between. Like she is the center. Like whatever you do around it.
That's
You have to keep the survivor in between. That's one. Second is research, because every day things are changing. Every day new things are coming. Do research, figure it out what else we can do. And the third thing is, which is the most priority, is prevention. We do prevention everywhere. Not just in schools and colleges. We go to communities, we go to taxi drivers, bus drivers. We train every single individual about the trafficking, about the concept of trafficking.
Okay. That's
So that's a bit
very.
about the work that we do. It's a long work. It's a huge, like, responsibility and accountability work for me. I don't
Hmm.
have a lot of team because I keep traveling. Again, I'm traveling tomorrow. I'll be coming back only by March mid. So a lot of
Right.
work. But yeah, at the same time, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and fulfilling as well, right?
Yeah. It's satisfaction. Like, you know what, Purva, right now, what I feel, if I am at home, I'm not doing anything.
Hmm.
There is this conscious thing that I'm not doing anything. So of course, yeah, it's really a fulfilling work.
Yes. But one question I really want to ask you is how does all this impact your health and like your like does it over take a toll on your health, on your mental
Yeah.
health
I was
and
in
all?
acute. It affects me. Like, for example, I thought I had got immune to it, but it was years of burnt out. So this year only, during I was in acute depression for 3 months. Acute
Mm.
depression. I have got COVID multiple times. I got typhoid. I got jaundice. Of course, physical. It's a lot of strain.
Hmm.
Mental also. I try to keep myself busy, so I do things that makes me feel good. Like, for example, I go for walks and everything. And the
Right.
thing is that I have cut off my circle. So I am a very outspoken person. I am a very extrovert person. I keep sharing stories, but now I have stopped doing it because there have been instances, where people have taken stories from me. Again, that affects my mental health. Like, people have taken stories from me. Documentaries have been made. People have got awards, which I am proud of, that
Hmm.
people have done this. But the thing is, there is no amount of respect or no amount of, see, for me, if you ask me, I don't want acknowledgement, I don't want recognition, but there is a minimum amount of acknowledgement that you need to give me because the work that I do is very sensitive and
Yeah.
needs immense, passion. Otherwise, it's
Right.
not possible.
Yes,
Like
that's
going to
true.
Kashmir, you don't know what happens to you tomorrow. You literally have to keep your life on your hand and you have to go. But that's something that
Hmm.
I love doing, so I do it.
Hmm.
So my only thing is that it started affecting me because the thing is that, see, whatever I do, I don't get anything, and I don't
Hmm.
want anything also. But then, after a point of time in life, we all have a breaking point. Like, at the
Yeah.
cost of what? At the cost of my family, at the cost of my health. Like, for example, I don't remember. So my mother and my sister, I've never taken care of my mother like the way I should have been. If you quote unquote the thing. Right now I'm married. My spouse is there for the next 1.5 months. She will be staying alone. 10
Hmm.
days he will join me in West Bengal. So
Hmm.
how much of personal life I put at stake. Like, a
Right.
lot of people keep telling me, wow, you do so amazing work. Your work is really interesting. And like, so many people cover you. Honestly speaking, I have not reached out to people to cover me. They
Right.
got to know about me and they cover me. It's a lot of, sacrifice on a family life.
Yeah, I get that.
Personal life, now not just with your spouse, but with your own mother also, like with your own family, with your mother, with your sister. So that part I think people forget, and that affects us mentally.
Yeah,
That affects our mental health a lot.
true. Yeah, I get that. Mm. So yes, Pallavi, it's really good, and I hope like people do acknowledge and people do recognize the work that you're putting in, and it's really commendable. And do take care of your mental health as well and all that. And yeah, so it was great talking to you, and we also shared a lot about the mental health and mental well-being of the required interventions for the people who have been trafficked and all that, and that's very useful. And I hope more and more people come in and help as counselors and help in the ground level. That impact is essential, right? Like,
Yeah. I think, even I will take your help because when you talk about mental health, we need regular counseling for
right,
people. People
right,
just think, if you have a breakout, if you have a burnout, then only you need mental counseling.
right,
No, if for your general well-being also you need counseling,
right,
right?
right,
So I want people to understand that bit.
right.
So that
That's
is one bit that I'm really looking at. So yeah, so
yes, we at our psychologists of destigmatized also can do our bit, and for maybe helping you out and all. Definitely, that is
yeah, that's so nice because that's something that we really look at.
right. Sure. We can think about that. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Apuba.
Okay, Pallavi. It was really great talking to you.